Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me tonight, and this story comes from Ireland in County Cork. The initial story broke on the 27th of October, and today they have released details about the suspected murder-suicide of 3 members of one family. Tadhg Diarmuid and Mark O'Sullivan were all found dead in property that they owned in County Cork on Monday. Police say they all suffered gunshot wounds, and police are not searching for anybody else in relation to the deaths that happened on a 150-acre farm in the area. Very early on they said that they suspected this is to do with an inheritance, and this was reported by the Irish Times on the 27th. One of the sons is thought to have shot the brother before the father tried to intervene, they said, initially in the story. But later on, this actually changed. Neighbours called the police at 6:30 in the morning after they heard a distraught woman, thought to be the wife and mother of the victims, saying that gunshots were going off inside her home. The alarm was raised and police negotiators turned up to the property, but due to the fact that they knew there was guns in the property, 2 rifles and a shotgun, they did not make entry straight away. Negotiators tried to make contact and they flew a drone over the property as well. They called a team in from Dublin, a specialist team, and when they made entry to the property, they found the first body in a bedroom with multiple gunshot wounds. An aerial search later found the other 2 bodies in a field not far from the property. One of the sons was believed to have suffered multiple gunshots, and they was awaiting back then the results of the post-mortem and ballistics and forensic tests on both rifles in the property to establish who shot who and whether one person did it or if they all shot themselves. A full investigation was launched and the State Pathologist and Garda Technical Bureau visited both scenes. The outhouses and barns connected to the land were also searched, and Garda Air Support was called in, as well as North Cork Divisional Search Team to scour the fields. Garda Superintendent Adrian Gamble said that 3 men had been shot and nobody else was present at the property at the time. Gamble said a number of weapons were found at the property and seized after police were called to a critical firearms incident. They said that a short time earlier, a female in her 60s alerted neighbours that a firearm had been discharged inside her home. The police then said that 3 males were present at the property and 1 may have suffered gunshot wounds. Throughout the course of the morning and early afternoon, the police negotiators attempted to make contact with the people inside the house but failed. Shortly after 1 PM, members of the emergency response unit approached the house and a body of a male was found inside with gunshot wounds in a bedroom. Local councillor Pat Hayes says it's a tragedy for the family and our thoughts and sympathies and prayers go out to those at this difficult time. It's come as a shock to the community and we're a very close-knit community, and to be honest with you, everyone is just numb. Fingal councillor Peter O'Shea said, "Everyone is deeply saddened and shocked by the death." In the recent update to the story of the murder-suicide that left 3 members of the same family dead in what they believe was a row over inheritance, they said they believed the killers deliberately chose to allow the woman at the centre of the row to survive the tragedy. It later has emerged, following the post-mortems of the bodies of the father, Tadhg O'Sullivan, who was 59, and his sons, Mark, who was 26, and Diarmuid, who was 23. And also the ballistic testing said that Mr. Sullivan Sr. and Diarmuid both shot Mark in his bedroom in the family home at Raheen in Kanturk at 6:40 in the morning on Monday. The post-mortem examination done by the state pathologist, Dr. Margot Bolster, confirmed that Mark O'Sullivan was shot 7 times. The police said that Mr. O'Sullivan Sr. and Diarmuid shot him using a .22 rifle that was legally held at the property. It is understood that Mr. O'Sullivan's wife, Anne, had planned to leave some of the 115-acre farm to Mark, and they heard a commotion at around 6:30 AM in the morning and emerged into a hallway and saw her husband and younger son fire from the doorway into the bedroom where Mark was sleeping. It is believed that Mark tried to get up from the bed after the first shot was fired, but then he fell onto the floor when he was hit by a further 6 shots from rifles. One of the semi-automatic weapons and the other was a bolt action. So that means that the dad and his son both shot the brother while he was in bed asleep. Mrs. O'Sullivan fled the scene in her nightdress. She took her mobile phone with her, but Tadhg and Diarmuid caught up with her in the farmyard and took the phone from her, smashed it with a sledgehammer and confronted her, she told the police, in a row over the inheritance. One of them said to her, "I hope you think the land is worth it now," before saying they planned to take their own lives, and they were found in Fairy Fort, an area on the farm. Mrs. O'Sullivan, who had been discharged from hospital just 2 weeks earlier, following surgery after a serious medical condition, struggled to make her way through the darkness to a neighbouring farm. She then told the neighbours that her husband and her son Diarmuid had shot Mark. The Gardaí from Kanturk responded very quick and arrived at the house. They said they heard 2 further shots at around 7:10 and they was not sure of the situation at this time. Uniformed and armed detectives in the Cork North Division maintained a cordon at the holding at Raheen until an on-scene commander arrived from the Cork City Division to take over the operation and was joined at 9 a.m. by members of the Armed Support Unit, also known as ASU from Cork. The Gardaí set up an outer cordon, preventing any further traffic coming from the areas surrounding the farm, and a trade negotiator was trying to get in touch with the occupants of the house. According to the Irish police, they was made aware of reports that Mr. O'Sullivan and Diarmuid had stated they intended to kill themselves, and the police felt they could not risk entering the house as they was not sure if they had any hostages or if there was more than one gunman. The police said they also held the position to avoid a shootout and with the armed men or man, and it was only after the trade negotiator got no response after 5 hours of attempting to engage with them inside the house that they decided to enter. They used bulletproof shields and forced their way into the door at 1 p.m. They were supported by armed members of the Regional Armed Support Unit, and they discovered the body of Mark O'Sullivan in the bedroom. The police said they found no sign of Mr. O'Sullivan Sr. and Diarmuid, but the Gardaí Air Support Unit found them in the field at 1:40. They both had single gunshot wounds to the head, and beside them they found 2 rifles and a 12-page apparent suicide letter written by a Diarmuid that was strapped to his thigh. The suicide note was written prior to the 2 men shooting Mark O'Sullivan, and they indicated that the 2 men were planning to kill him for some time. Mrs. O'Sullivan and Mark had been in Dublin when she was undergoing surgery for a serious medical condition. The police said they were satisfied with the post-mortems on Mr. O'Sullivan Sr. and also Diarmuid carried out by Dr. Bolster, and that each man took his own life. They believed the suicides had been pre-planned. This is a very sad story coming from Ireland, and I thought it was a very important story to show the extent of what can happen when money and things like this get in the way of family. So I send my condolences to the remaining relatives of the O'Sullivan family, and I really want to hear what people have to say on this story. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.